Elmo R. Zumwalt Jr.'s life history, complete Navy career, and involvement in battles and wars. Based on available sources, I've organized it into sections for clarity, covering his early life, education, naval service, key battles, wars, and post-Navy life. Elmo Russell Bud Zumwalt Jr. was born on November 29, 1920, in San Francisco, California, to Elmo Russell Zumwalt and Frances Pearlney Frank Zumwalt, both country doctors. Frances was raised Jewish, the daughter of Julius and Sarah Frank of Burlington, Vermont. The family moved to Tulare, California, where Zumwalt grew up. Navy career 194 to 1974. Zumwalt's 32-year Navy career spanned World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Cold War, culminating in his role as the 19th Chief of Naval Operations, CNO, including key assignments and promotions. Career and World War II 194 to 1945, 1942, 1943, commissioned as an ensign on June 19, 1942. Zumwalt joined the destroyer USS Phelps as a watch officer August 1942 November. 1942 November 1943, he served in the Pacific Theater during World War II, participating in the Battle of Savo Island August 1942 and the Aleutian Islands, campaign landings on Attu and Kiska 1943-1943-1945, transferred to the destroyer USS Robinson as a watch officer January 1944. October 1945, he rose to full lieutenant and served as third in command. During the Battle of Leyte Gulf, October 25, 1944, specifically the Battle of Surigao Strait, Zumwalt earned a Bronze Star with Valor for his role as an evaluator in the Combat Information Center, providing critical information during a torpedo attack on Japanese battleships. After Japan's surrender in August 1945, he commanded the prize crew of the Japanese river gunboat HIMJS Ataka. From August to December 1945, he took the first U.S.-flagged ship since the war's start up the Huangpu River to Shanghai, China, aiding in restoring order and disarming Japanese forces. World War II and Korean War 1945 to 1952, 1945 to 1946, served as executive officer of the destroyer USS Softley from October 1945 to March 1946-1946-1948. Executive officer and navigator of the destroyer USS Zellers from March 1946 to January 1948-1948-1950, assistant professor of naval sciences at the Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps Unit, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill 1950 to 1951. Promoted to lieutenant commander, Zumwalt received his first command. The destroyer escort USS Tills 1951 to 1952 served as navigator on the battleship USS Wisconsin during the Korean War, operating in Korean waters. 1950s command and shore duties. 1953 to 1955 served in the Navy Department, gaining personnel experience. Encyclopedia.com. 1955 to 1957 commanded the destroyer USS Arnold J. Isbell. History.Navy.mil. 1957 to 1959 returned to the Navy Department. Continuing personnel-related work, 1959 to 1961, commanded the Guided Missile Destroyer Leader, USS Dewey, earning the Excellence Award in Engineering, Supply, and Weapons, and runner-up in the Battle Efficiency Competition. 1960s, Senior Roles and Vietnam War, 1961 to 1962, attended the National War College in Washington, D.C., 1960 to 1963, served as desk officer for France, Spain, and Portugal in the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense International Security Affairs. Later became Director of Arms Control and Contingency Planning for Cuba, handling NATO affairs in the Cuban blockade. 1963, 1965, Executive Assistant and Senior Aide to Secretary of the Navy, Paul H. Nitze, for his work in the offices of the Secretary of Defense and Navy. He was awarded the Legion of Merit, 1965, promoted to Rear Admiral in July 1965. Zumwalt assumed command of Cruiser-Destroyer Flotilla 7 in San Diego, 1966 to 1968, Director of the Chief of Naval Operations Systems Analysis Group, organizing the Systems Analysis Division, and serving as Deputy Scientific Officer to the Center for Naval Analyses, he earned the Distinguished Service Medal for his work, including frequent Capitol Hill appearances on behalf of the CNO. 19681, 1970, promoted to Vice Admiral in October 1968. Zumwalt became Commander U.S. Naval Forces, Vietnam, and Chief of the Naval Advisory Group. U.S. Military Assistance Command, Vietnam, September 1968, May 1970. He led the Brownwater Navy in the Mekong Delta, Orange, to defoliate jungles for better air surveillance, a decision later linked to health issues, including his son's leukemia. Under President Nixon's Vietnamization policy, he accelerated the transfer of U.S. Navy assets to the South Vietnamese Navy, earning praise for his innovative leadership. Chief of Naval Operations, 1970 to 1974, appointment nominated by President Nixon on April 14, 1970. Zumwalt became the youngest CNO in history at age 49, serving from July 1, 1970 to July 1, 1974, with the rank of Admiral facing declining re-enlistments and racial tensions. Zumwalt issued 121 ZGrams, directives aimed at modernizing and humanizing the Navy. These addressed personnel issues like haircuts, uniforms, liberty, and grievance systems, institutionalizing equality for minorities and women. His reforms, including the surface warfare pin, boosted morale but sparked controversy among senior officers and Congress for bypassing traditional chains of command. Navy Commendation Medal with Combat V Navy Unit Citation, China Service Medal, American Defense Service Medal, American Campaign Medal, Navy Occupation Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Korean Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, World War II Victory Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal Foreign Awards, Order of Military Merit Korea, Order of the Rising Sun Japan, National Order of Vietnam, Vietnamese Gallantry Cross, and others from Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and the Dominican Republic. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more military, Navy, and geopolitical updates.